we got the car on the dyno. It's strapped down. I'm trying to have it not blow out the background there. But it's strapped down. We got the wideband in the back, and we're gonna make our first pull here and see what she makes. Kind of paying attention to what the wideband's doing, and let's see what it does. It's real fat up top, but Jesus, that thing zinged. Okay, so first pull. 130. I put the timing back in it that it had when it was in Japan. It was about 4 degrees more timing. We're gonna make another pull. I'm gonna audibly listen for if there's any knock. So if the filming's bad, sorry. Sounded good up here, no pings or no noise. All right, reaction, what we get? Same horsepower! Okay, so we finished our dyno day, and the Motec 1.8 liter unknown engine made 132 and 115 torque. The issue with it is it's clearly making more power than that, and our previous car clearly made more power than that, because we did not know how to use the dyno, and we set the scaling wrong with the weight of the car and a few other things. So it was under the assumption that the Fox body was like 900 pounds heavier than what it is, and the Miatas were like 750 pounds heavier. So, and it works off of calculating, you know, the weight of it all. So they definitely made more power than that. We could tell they made more power than that based by the amount of fuel they were using. Just because obviously, if you know the ratio of like the wideband or the stoichiometric, if you know you're injecting so much fuel, you can look at your base fuel consumption and a few other things, and see how much power you're really making. And realistically, they're probably making about 15% more than that. So I don't know exactly what that puts us at, but it's more power than what it is. But unfortunately, we said what they were going to make on the dyno, so we're going off of that number, and I'm going to decide some winners here shortly. We interrupt your scheduled program by bringing you a commercial. That's from me, not the idiots that run ads down here that I monetize to make a few dollars off of. Basically, I'm running a class in Oviedo, Florida that is all drifting encapsulated into a basically 5-hour class. We're going to talk about tires and how they offer grip, tire pressure, style, size, diameter, width. We're going to talk about suspension geometry, spring rates, shocks, dampening, sway bars, all sorts of different steering angle kits, and whether you need them or you don't, and better understand them. We're also going to talk about diffs and drivetrains and power bands and all sorts of things to help you set up your car to be better, to enjoy it more, have a good time, and also maybe be more competitive and be able to win. So shoot an email to info@theschoolofdrift.com if you're interested, or check out my Instagram. It's got some information as well. But if you guys want to come, check it out. It'll definitely elevate your skills and give you something to think about moving forward with drifting. I've never actually had this car up on the lift, so we're going to lift it up and take a look underneath and check everything out. It sounds crazy because I've already like done 100 miles an hour in it, put it on the dyno, beat the crap out of it. I've never had it on the lift before. At least that's crazy for me. So let's see how it goes. Oh, that's why it's quiet. Holy shnikes.
Suitcase.
That's a massive muffler with a lot of packing in it, and there's only one hanger holding it on. It's got some old Tane coilovers, but it looks like they've changed the spring rates on them. Looks like stock sway bars. Or sway bar in the back at least. Oh yeah, this thing's quiet. It's got a resonator, a giant suitcase muffler, and another one here that I don't know what that does, but it sounds like it's empty. This header is nice, but the diameter is real small. That must be all you really need, I guess. It's super clean underneath though. This is where the roll bar bolted up, and so they used this little bracket right here so that the bolts can be countersunk, so if you do hit something, it doesn't snag the bolts, it just scrapes on here, which is interesting. I've never seen that before. You learn something new. And then this guy right here on the back of the transmission is the little digital speedometer. So basically it just converts that to a cable, or to wire instead of cable. So it's like cable by or wire conversion type deal. I've never seen that before. The Goodrich brake lines, again with the change front spring rates on there, which is cool. And I thought these were FC brakes, but I was notified that they're FD brakes, and that's what they came with, which is, again, pretty sick. FD brakes are rad. So again, looks like stock front bar too. You can see the garage vary bumper is cool because it comes back all the way to the radiator pretty much, so you get all that funneled air in there. To the lower part of the header here. So it's a 4 to 2 to 1 with really long collectors, which is nice. Kind of peek through there and see it. Also, 1 million people answered what this was for, and I actually found out later what it was really for. And I thought that it could be a turbo drain, but there was zero signs of it being turbo at any point, like intercooler mounts or anything. But still could be a thing. But then I found out that the catch can system had a drain valve to drain back into the oil pan, which is awful idea because it's all that like moisturized, crappy oil, vapor, water mix, and I guess they were just like dumping it back into the oil there.
Gross.
Yeah, or at least that's what I gathered from it. Looks like all the bushings were done, which is cool. It has a wideband O2 sensor already in it, which we found out with the Motec when we were on the dyno. And yeah, just it looks actually fairly stock underneath compared. A big oil cooler with really, I mean, it's dry, it's nice. A lot of the stuff, even if it's stock, is safety wired, which is pretty sick. And a lot of these bushings have already been done, that's a huge job. So no rust, super nice, simple, but not as modified as I thought it was going to be underneath here. So the black Miata made very little horsepower. Made 132.6 horsepower and 115.5 foot-pounds of torque, so 133, 116 if you're rounding up. But our winner is Keegan Dunmeyer, so I will go ahead and reach out to you on Instagram and your email, so make sure you check those. And yeah, I'm headed to VIR right now to do some testing with RTR to test some things in the off season before we tear the cars down and rebuild them. We are doing some new BC shocks. We're gonna make some changes with that, and some other little small changes that I think will make the car easier to drive, but are a lot of work. So we're gonna go ahead and work towards those to make it easier to drive without losing any speed, and that's kind of been the priority for the last few years. So I'm on my way there now, and hopefully we can make some changes that improve on the drivability of it. Like, comment, subscribe. If you don't like it, dislike it so that I know. Talk shit, do whatever you want. Later.